CNBC recently ranked North Carolina #2 in its top states for business rankings. North Carolina has finished either first or second in CNBC's rankings for 6 consecutive years.
So you might be wondering, what are we doing right? And could we be possibly doing something better as a state? We're joined now by Gerald Cohen. He's a professor of finance and the chief economist over at UNC. Professor, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Happy Friday.
Great. Thanks for having me, and happy Friday to you.
All right. So what would you say is the biggest factor behind, I mean, we're not #1 like we were last year, but we were a solid #2, and we've been at the top for several years now. What's behind our success as a state?
So I think the two things that CNBC ranks us in, well, we had 4 things in the top 10, but the 2 things that are notable are our economy. So we're ranked #1 in their economies category, which is not just about growth, but about kind of the health of our economy overall, our debt levels. And then we're ranked #3 in workforce. And I think that's, in some respects, I'm going to say that's the key. It's about people coming into this, people in the state, people quality workforce in the state, and then people coming into the state to work and be involved in our economy. And so I think that's such an important driver of our current growth and then our future growth.
So is North Carolina's growth coming from the companies moving here, or from other states, or from businesses that are already based here, like expanding?
Both. And I think in some respects, the latter, the fact that we're having companies that are startups coming at this in the state, people, growing their own companies, and then companies that are moving to the state, or companies that are existing in the state and are growing and developing. And again, a lot of that is based on talent. It's based on and I'll say, our educational system developing a workforce that is able to create these companies or grow these companies. And then we are bringing in people, but quality workforce, and people who want to come and live and enjoy the Tar Heel state.
And to that point about the regular worker, I mean, this makes a nice headline. It makes us feel good. We always like being at the top of a list. But what does a ranking mean like this for the average worker? Does it translate to better jobs or better pay or more opportunity? Or this is really just something that the state and these companies can tout?
I mean, I think the state can tout it and say, look, we have this great workforce. And so, we have this growing economy, we have this strong economy. And so, if you're thinking of either starting a business or you're thinking of coming, and relocating, then, a business or an individual, then, North Carolina is a great place to be. So it helps the workforce because it creates opportunities for that workforce. But I think that it's, but there are also challenges. And one of the things that I should note is that that the reason why we went from #1 to #2 is they talked about the cost of living and about housing. And we've done a lot of work on housing. And I'll note that we've measured housing affordability across the 100 counties, all 100 counties in North Carolina. And since 2020, housing affordability in all counties across North Carolina has declined. That's the bad news. The good news is that we're starting to see some pickup in affordability over the last few years. So we've seen a big decline since 2020, but then some pickup in affordability. And so CNBC has noted that housing affordability is a challenge, and that is one of the challenges when you're a fast-growing state with people moving here and people staying here. That's another aspect. It's that our graduates are, rather than moving to New York, they're staying in Charlotte or in the Triangle or throughout the state.
All right. Awesome. I mean, best place to be is right here in North Carolina.
That's why we're here.
So,
right. Professor, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, you too.